Our first question will come from Patrick Murphy.
Jeremy, I guess the obvious question to start with is the tight ends were so involved in the first half against Clemson. You guys went to a couple throws to you guys early, but didn't continue with that. How much of a talk about using you guys in the passing game was there, and what did you make of the game plan going forward?
I mean, they were a great defense and everything, and we were able to make some plays early, but we were just trying to control what we can control, and we didn't want to force anything and just try and get into a rhythm here and there. We kept getting a couple guys to go down, so we really just tried to get into a rhythm. And going against a great team and a great defense like that, you got to really try and do whatever you can, take what they give you, and not try and force anything. So I mean, like I've always said, if the ball comes my way, I'll do everything I can to make the play. But if it doesn't, I'm just going to do everything I can to help the team. And whatever my assignment is, I'm just going to do it as hard as I can and as long as I can.
Our next question will come from Spencer Holbrook. Spencer, go ahead.
Jeremy, now that you've had 2 years to play with Justin and presumably that time has come to an end, what can you say about him and what you've seen from him in the last 2 years?
I mean, our relationship goes back to high school. We went to a bunch of camps together, and I've always seen him around. And other than about him as a football player, you can just tell how much of a competitor he is and how truly great he is. He always puts ourselves in a great position, and he's one of the toughest players I've ever been around. One of my toughest teammates I've ever seen, and he really showed that last game, and coming back this game, behind the scenes, just 24/7 in our training room, getting his body right and doing everything he can to make sure he's out here. And I feel like he didn't even give it away that he was hurt at all. He looked like he was standing in there strong and doing whatever he could to help us win. So I mean, he's a great person, unbelievable football player, and I'm excited to watch his future.
Our next question will come from Steven Means. Steven, go ahead.
Jeremy, how much did losing Trey Sermon on that opening drive, I guess, change things and impact some of the stuff you guys wanted to do offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a huge loss, especially how productive he's been these last couple of weeks. We've been kind of relying on him in the run game, but I mean, we're very confident in the guys that we have going forward and who we had in the game. We feel like we were moving the ball pretty well. We rushed pretty good in the first half, and I mean, losing him was definitely detrimental. But I mean, you can't really put much thought about that into the game while you're in the moment. I mean, you gotta just control what you can control, as I said before, and I feel like we just try to do that on offense, and our defense just played as hard as they could, and we respect those guys so much and love all those guys, especially the older guys. I mean, it's tough to see it end like this, but I mean, you just gotta control what you can control.
For our next question, we'll go back to Patrick Murphy. Patrick, go ahead.
Jeremy, you're obviously very involved in the blocking game. Alabama's defensive line, maybe a little bit unheralded in comparison with some of the past, but clearly got to you guys some. What did they do well in this game?
I mean, you play against Alabama, you're going against the best players in the country, and, they're very talented, very fundamentally sound, and, obviously they're going to get after us a couple of times. I feel like we just try to manage that and try and be on the attacking end, not trying to receive it, and be more proactive than reactive. And I mean, they got after us a couple of times, and I feel like it might have changed a couple big moments in the game if we could have stayed on a block a little bit longer or gotten him a little extra second to scan down the field. But I mean, we left it all out there. I could tell our offensive line and our defense and everybody on this team, we just left it all out there. I mean, the score might not have shown it, but I'm just so proud of how far we've come, especially in this season and how everything's happened. I mean, can't be anything other than just so proud of our guys and how far we've come throughout this whole year.
If you have a question for Jeremy, please raise your hand. Our next question will come from Steven Means. Steven, go ahead.
Jeremy, what were they doing in the secondary to kind of limit you guys in the passing attack today?
What did you say? Can you repeat that?
What did they do anything to limit you guys in the passing attack today?
I mean, nothing comes to mind. I mean, like they played really strong. They're very, very sound. They get their plays in early, and I mean, they played really good, and wish it could have turned out different. But I mean, I didn't really notice anything. I feel like we just kind of got off rhythm a little bit and couldn't get first down. So I mean, I don't know how much that had to do with the secondary or anything, but I mean, just much respect to those guys for coming to play.
Our last question for Jeremy will come from Patrick Murphy. Patrick, go ahead.
Jeremy, you took the big hit in the first half. Just what did you feel after that? You obviously came back in the game, but how are you feeling and how are you feeling still?
I mean, hurts, but my dad would have got after me pretty bad if I didn't get right back up. So, I mean, just thinking, don't want to end like that. Don't want the season to end like that. Get back in the game and try and help and do anything I can.
All right, that's it for this post-game virtual news conference. A transcript will be provided by ASAP Sports and will be distributed via email and posted along with photos, videos, and audio files in the CFP Media portal at cfpmedia.mediashuttle.com. Coming up next, we will have Chris Olave, wide receiver for Ohio State. We will be back when he is here. Oh, Chris is here. All righty. We are now joined by Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State. To ask a question of Chris during this session, please use the raise hand icon. If your question is selected, I will say your name and allow you to speak. Once your question has been answered, your microphone will be muted and your hand will be lowered. Our first question for Chris will come from Stephen Means. Stephen, go ahead.
Chris, I think this might be the first game that both you and Garrett were under 100 yards receiving. Was this secondary doing anything maybe that you hadn't seen before to take you guys away, or how did they make things difficult for you guys?
Hey, Sean. They played a good game. They had some really good defense, really good team over there. But they just played better ball than us today, and they came out with the win. So,
our next question will come from Patrick Murphy. Patrick, go ahead.
Chris, similar question, but the feelings right now, obviously you guys came in with high expectations with the way this year went and everything. To not have the offensive production you wanted, what's going on in your head right now?
It was tough. I mean, we got high standards for ourselves, high standards for each other. We worked so hard in the offseason to get to this point, and we didn't play our best game today. And it's tough, and it's a down moment, but you just got to soak it in and bounce back.
Our next question will come from Spencer Holbrook. Spencer, go ahead.
Chris, to be with Justin for the last 2 years and to see, him fight for you guys to get a season back and everything that he did in the offseason, and then to come out and play the way he did all year, what can you say about him, just getting to know him the last couple of years and playing with him the last 2 years?
He's a warrior. I mean, that's a guy you always want on your team, and he's a leader on and off the field, and people look up to him. And the season he had this year, the growth he had from last year, is huge. And I got all love and all respect for him, and I can't wait to see him do big things.
Our next question will come from Stephen Means. Stephen, go ahead.
Chris, Trey was very important to what you guys wanted to do in the Sugar Bowl and how it opened some things up down the field for you and Garrett. Losing him on that first drive as a receiver who's a vertical threat, I mean, how much of a detriment was that to you guys?
I mean, you see what he did the last 2 games, and when we needed him the most, he gave us his best. And just see him go down in that first drive, it was tough for us. He's been going uphill ever since that Big Ten championship, and I wanted to see him do good in his game. And losing him was huge, and I think we felt that.
Our next question will come from Bill Landis. Bill, go ahead.
Hey, Chris, what was it like, I guess, over the last 2 years to kind of grow alongside of Justin? I think several times last year we were to ask you guys about getting some things synced up, and particularly the deep ball. But this year it just seemed like whenever you guys were on the field together, you were so in sync. Just how did you kind of foster that over the last 2 years to get to the point where you were this year?
Yeah, last year we were just out there trying to ball, but this year we kind of locked in, and he knew my body language. I know his body language whenever he's gonna throw the ball to me, and he knows when I'm gonna break off a route or all that. And going into this year, I kind of wanted to read coverages and take my game to another level, and know where to break my routes off at and tack leverages and just try to be the best in the country. And we had a tough year, but we wanted to come out with this win, and it's tough. But we made it, and we're thankful.
The next question will come from Spencer Holbrook. Spencer, go ahead.
Chris, where do you think you made the biggest, I guess, stride this year not just as a team, but as an individual? You said you wanted to read defenses. We talked to you. You obviously wanted to get past the Clemson hurdle. Like, what do you think you did this season that was better than what you did the season before with Justin?
Individually, I felt like I got faster. I put a little muscle on, and last year I was playing out around 180, 175, but this year I played at 185, 186. I felt way better out there, especially strength-wise, getting off press and getting into my routes more efficiently. And I felt like I had a good year, and just got to keep building.
The next question will come from Patrick Murphy. Patrick, go ahead.
Chris, I know you probably didn't necessarily want to see a bunch of young guys on the field at the end because of the result, but seeing those freshman receivers get out there and experience this game, what could that mean for them going forward, and what did you see from them when they were in the game there for a little bit?
That's huge. I mean, I got all love for the guys, and our unit's so close. I mean, we competed every day in the offseason, trying to make each other better, and see them out there their freshman year in the national championship. Playing in the national championship is huge, and I know they're not going to forget this feeling. I saw the looks on their face, and I hope they bounce back, and I hope they work harder than ever this all season.